In this video, I want to go over a particular scenario that can be dangerous if you're not paying attention. In this case, we're going to see a collision take place. And this is probably one of the main reasons why, as a driving instructor, I would have to brake for a student in a vehicle. And this is pertaining to when they're coming up to make a left turn at a regular intersection light, and they're not, the driver or my student isn't putting their money on, I probably have to wait for oncoming traffic. They put their money on, I can probably make this turn. So you'll see what I mean in a second here. So we're sitting here at this light, and in a moment's time, we're going to get the green. So there we go. We start driving through the intersection. And this is obviously the back dash cam, if you will. And you'll see a couple of people doing the wrong thing. For example, gauging by how close this car is to us, and we're the first persons to stop at this intersection, or we're the first person to now go through on the green light, just take a look at how fast this car, or truck rather, is coming up to make this turn. Like, this car is like mere meters away from entering the intersection, and this person is starting a new turn. Now, we have to realize they just have a green light right now, so they need to yield to oncoming traffic. Here's a pretty big misconception on the road, is that if I can make it over there, then it's done, right? But the thing is, if you cause this driver to have to cover the brake or slow down for you to make your maneuver, then it was not a safe maneuver. And that's what we call a short gap. And if you're going on a road test, you could fail for what this vehicle is doing. Now, to make matters worse, as we go forward a bit, so this truck is coming through, and then you'll see this vehicle, I mean, this person is already in the intersection, and I'm not sure what was going on through their mind, because you know, it's just a steady green light, so it's not like you're getting an arrow. And then they proceed to make this turn, and unfortunately they have a collision right there. Now, we kind of have to think about the series of events that led up to this point here. So let's back up just a bit here. So we're coming up, the light is green. This person books it for the turn. Very unprofessional, very unsafe, if you will. And then look how close these vehicles are following to one another, right? And you know, in our driving lessons, we're constantly saying, hey, you know, make sure you're managing your safe distance from that vehicle, right? We want good space cushions when you're driving. And it's not because we don't trust our learners, it's because you need that space. So A, you can see better past that vehicle, and B, you can have time to react to things. So, you know, imagine these guys are coming up together, and what possibly could have been happening is this truck is a pretty big vehicle, right? And from our point of view, we can't really see that vehicle that's about to enter into the intersection. It could have possibly been the case that this person doesn't have a good view of the oncoming traffic. And then they go ahead and proceed to make this turn. So I want to go back one step again. So that the first point was, you're coming up, you haven't left enough room, the vehicle in front of you is now more or less blocking your view, so you're not keeping a good following distance from the vehicle in front of you. And then to top things off, the speed at which this person's coming in, it looks like they've decided, I'm just going to make this turn. This guy made the turn, why can't I make the turn, right? And that's a really dangerous assumption to make on the roads when you've got these type of regular green lights, or in this case, it's an advanced light where the green light is on. So the speed at which this person is coming in, they've already decided, I'm going to go through. And what I tell students is, don't make up your mind about whether you can make that turn until you've come in with a speed at which you were planning on stopping in your waiting position. Where is the waiting position once again? It's the back wheels in the middle of the crosswalk with your vehicle straight. This person is coming in so quick that it, didn't really give him a chance possibly to make that stop. And again, I want to reiterate how close apart these vehicles are here. And, I think just gauging by the fact that this person, didn't try to swerve out of the way, which I don't usually recommend you swerving out of the way, but they probably weren't believing what was happening, right? Why is this person turning? I've got a green light, and this person is still gonna cut in front of me to make this turn. And unfortunately, as you see, there's a collision there. So this kind of collision happens more often than anybody would like, and it's totally avoidable. So come in to the intersection if you're making a left turn with the intention of stopping in your waiting position. If you get to the waiting position and then you realize, hey, it's clear, okay, well, you don't have to sit there, you can go ahead and make the turn, but always come in at a speed that allows you to change your mind at the last second and actually safely stop in the waiting position. Now, this is a little bit different than what sometimes happens with students is they'll have a green light and they'll be maybe back here, and now they're hesitating to get to the intersection because they're thinking, maybe the light's going to change, maybe the light's going to change. And I tell them, yeah, the light might change, right? But what you need to do is first get closer to your waiting position. So as long as the light is green, get into the intersection, put your back wheels into the middle of the crosswalk, and it's at that point where you can make that judgment call of, I'll make the turn, or no, that vehicle is too close, or this crosswalk is occupied with pedestrians that are about to cross my path, so I don't want to cut in front of them. But don't come in with the speed that doesn't give you that option to stop if you need to. And so, this could have led to a chain of events. Luckily, it didn't. It was just a one collision. But this is how you get the multi-car pileups. And then people are like, there was a 10-car pileup? How did this happen? And it's like, because no one is following distance properly. And it's so easy to let things slide, right? You're following another vehicle. You're like, yeah, if they hit the brake, I'll hit the brake, right? And when are you thinking about that? You're thinking about that when you're being present in the moment. You're thinking about that vehicle suddenly braking. And then if I ask you, will you be able to brake? You're gonna be like, yeah, totally, I'm gonna be able to brake. And this is why sometimes I tell students, hey, you're following too close. And they're like, what is he talking about? I could totally stop if I need to. You can stop because A, the ground is dry and you're present in the moment. But we need that space cushion for when, if something happens, it's gonna take your brain 2 seconds to realize, oh my God, this is actually gonna take place. And then another second or so for your brain to send a command to your foot to start depressing the brake pedal. So you need some buffer room, if you will, for situations like this. So these two people are following really close. And then look how fast this person is carrying a trailer. My question is, why are you this far apart from this vehicle coming up, right? And the speed at which you're coming up. So we'll see their brake lights is on, and then they, for a second, took their foot off the brake, and then they reapplied it, realizing what has just happened. And then you see, again, this vehicle so close to this trailer. So it could have been a 4-car pileup right in that scenario. So please, the takeaway from this video is leave good distance in front of you, right? You're never gonna regret leaving more space in front of you, right? The book says 2 seconds following distance in the city. So if you're going 50 kilometers an hour, 2 seconds times 13 meters per second, you should be 26 meters back traveling at 50 kilometers an hour. That works out to be a length of a pretty good sized swimming pool, right? And when I tell students this, they're like, oh my God, that's a lot of room. And sure enough, it is. But then if another person does a lane change in front of you, all of a sudden your 26 meters goes down to 13 meters, and then it's not as big of a gap as you thought you had. So don't make up your mind until you've seen for yourself what's happening at the intersection and leave more room from the vehicle in front of you so that you can actually see what's going on. The further back you are, the smaller that vehicle in front of you is, the better you can see what they're dealing with by the time you get there. So I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope I never hear about you being in this type of a collision.